Hi, welcome to Kathleen's Place, Today and Every Day. Remember, this is a safe place where we can share our comments and concerns and stories and journeys and whatever you'd like to share. Try to be nice about it. I am human on this end of the video. I did have one lady comment. I'm not going to show you the comment. You can go look at it yourself if you feel like it. On my previous video to this one, basically said that my chronic illness is not a real chronic illness and that I'm fat and lazy and a complainer, which is, you know, didn't hurt because I know she's just angry more at herself. For those of you who know, my husband and I separated. I initiated it. So she also obviously hasn't watched any of my other videos because I do mention that in there. So she went on to say, at least my husband's still with me. Like, yeah, she's been through a lot of bad stuff, but you know, to treat other people with respect is number one. So yeah, she went on and on, but a book chapter that she wrote, and that's fine. Yeah, like I say, it doesn't bother me because I know where it's coming from, and it's coming from her angry heart. So anyhow, I'm going to be talking to you and just sharing my journey with you, and I'm going to try not to cut this video just so I can get it done. I haven't done a video, I'm going to say, in 10 days due to the fact that my chronic fatigue syndrome was acting up quite a bit. And what seems to be the, how do I say, the way that things have been moving recently is I'm like, fine, not fine, but I can do stuff for about a week. And that's still, you know, doing 20 minutes of something, taking a break for an hour or two, doing 20 minutes of something, taking a break for an hour or two. And then there's other weeks where I can hardly do anything at all. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm very much a go-getter. I've never been one to be able to just sit still. I mean, yes, I can sit down and watch a movie. When my kids were young, I never actually sat down and actually watched the movie in full, because I've gone back to watch movies again that were ones that just for nostalgic reasons we'd watch as a family, and I don't remember a good portion of it. So I know I'd be getting up and doing this and that. I'm just not one who's able to sit still, especially when I was younger. But even now, like 6 years ago when I was first diagnosed with this, because I couldn't do anything, I was able to not do anything because I could only sleep. The second thing, and I'd go back and forth because when I first was diagnosed, I was working 2 jobs. I was working in retail as well as customer service for a sports center. Then after that, I have been to emergency a few times, and they diagnosed me with chronic fatigue syndrome. We were new here in Saskatoon, and so I found my family doctor and had gone back with him with tingling in my hands, my legs, and my limbs would fall asleep, and you know, all the different kinds of things, migraines constantly. And so after that, and as I talk, trying to think of things, no, I didn't write it down today. Haven't really even thought about what I was gonna say, but I just realized that I haven't really given anybody, you know, a lot of my history. So in 2017, I fell due to my leg falling asleep. I was sitting and studying to be a realtor, actually. So I had I was sitting for an hour, and if I'm doing something, I can sit. But if I'm just sitting to just sit, I've had to learn to do that. Anyhow, so I had my legs up on another chair, and I stood up and couldn't feel the floor. Took another step, still couldn't feel the floor, and fell over, hit my head on my metal filing cabinet that I had sitting there, and didn't think much of it. My son, who I believe was 8 at the time, maybe 7, 2017, yeah, he would have been 8, because it was April, so yeah, he would have just turned 8, not long before. So anyhow, he went and got me Advil, got me an ice pack for my head, and said, should I call Dad, because Dad was out buying groceries. And I said, no, I'm fine. And he ignored me and called my husband anyway. And he was thankfully just, finishing up at the grocery store paying, and headed home. It's a 15-minute drive, so got home. Took me to emergency. They told me all about concussions, what things to watch for, and I didn't figure I would have had a concussion. But a concussion, they say it doesn't matter how hard you hit your head. It's the fact that your brain has hit the sides of your head, and the more often that you've hit your head in your life, the worse it can be. So anyhow, so that was that. And upon moving here to Saskatoon in 2018, yeah, I was working 2 jobs, like I said, and previous to that, I was a manager for Saskatchewan Housing Authority in 2 different towns for 78 units, and I really enjoyed that, except for the only thing that I didn't enjoy was the supervisors. Some of them, like the board, were great. The board that I worked with was great. I know other property managers that their board for Sask Housing was not great to work with, but both of mine in both towns was really good. They were all really good to work with, but the regional managers, whatnot, one was not nice at all. But anyhow, caused me quite a bit of grief. So anyhow, due to my concussion, I ended up going back to the doctor Monday. I had a doctor's appointment anyhow, and so by this time I couldn't use my computer without a lot of pain. I couldn't write or read without headaches. My arms felt like they were weighed down with weights, and a lot of other symptoms that I had. And so I told him about my symptoms, and he said, you've got post-concussion syndrome. And so I let go of the larger one first, the property management, and then I kept going with the smaller one for another few months, but couldn't do it, so I let it go as well, and then rested for a couple months, maybe 3 months or something, then thought I was fine. So work was getting slow for my husband in between that time, so we decided to relocate, and things have been going well here in Saskatoon, but I was having more symptoms again that seemed like my concussion symptoms, but and some that didn't, some that were just completely different. But in saying all this, I had to learn to sit still because of my chronic fatigue syndrome, because it's something that if you talk to other people that have chronic fatigue syndrome and the doctors, and look it up online under a medical Google, under a actual medical page, not just a random page, it will tell you that. Because also, like, whenever I'd work out, I love working out, I love walking, I love doing all those things, but when I would do that, I would get sick, I would get a migraine, I would feel like I couldn't do anything for a week or 2 weeks, And I would try and do dishes. I would try and cook. I would try to, you know, do all those things. And I couldn't. And then, you know, my husband and I have our own business, and it was just him and I working there. So I would go and, you know, help him do siding and eavesdrop and all those things when I was feeling fine, right? So every time I would do that, I would be feeling fine, but I would continue going, and then I would crash again, right? I didn't know I had to pace myself. So I still have to do what I have to do to make life work for me, so that if I have to like do practically nothing for a week, maybe even 2 weeks, week and a half, whatever it may be, and then I have to do stuff because I still have a life. I'm still alive. The things that I've shared with you in past videos, you know, are just part of life, and I share to try to help and encourage other people not to feel sorry for myself, because I for sure don't feel sorry for myself. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm trying to become a better person, and just going from there. So I just want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you for being a part of my life, my journey. And in the future video I will probably talk about where I'm heading, what my goals are, what I'm doing to support myself financially, because currently I'm living with my daughter and son-in-law at their request when I decided to separate from my husband. But I do not obviously want to do that forever, so I am working on improving things for my finances, for my son and I. We both live with them in a 3-bedroom home. So yeah. So in the next video that I share, I will share about what my goals are, where I'm heading, and what I'm up to. So thank you all for joining me. Love you all lots, and take care. Bye-bye.